what I thought, Matt, is, we have 12 lessons here, 4 lessons in each part. So part 1, making better choices, you have 4 lessons. Part 2, creating new patterns and beliefs, you have 4 lessons. Part 3, shifting from anger to joy, you have again 4 lessons. So what I thought is, if we can dedicate 30 minutes to each lesson and applying it to people who are suffering from dysphagia, and especially, and to other problems, other ailments, which are actually causing anger in them, frustration in them, giving them a hope is what I'm looking at, Matt. So, so lesson 1, learning to live peacefully. So, shall we commence?
And we're starting part 1. Lesson 1 is learning to live peacefully.
Yes. Oh, wonderful.
Okay. All right. So starts off with a lesson. I think starts off with an exercise. I think all the lessons do. The 6 seconds model of education is engage, activate, reflect. And so you try to engage the student first. And so you start it with an exercise and get them involved with it. Then you explain what just happened, and then have them reflect on it and how does it apply to you. So that's how this book is set out. So we start with the exercise. Do you want to talk some about these relationships in your life that you've lost because of anger?
Definitely. I've lost actually many of my friends because of anger. And also there are, I lost my loved ones, some of my loved ones because of anger. And there are few people with, I didn't communicate because of the anger I had towards them. And after some time, after that, I understood that, there's no point of having anger on them because it's all in my mind. So actually, I was completely angry on a particular relative of mine. So I stopped all communications with him. But then I understood that he was actually thinking about good. He was actually thinking good for me. But then I understood it after he passed away. So this is something I couldn't digest, I couldn't accept, because it's too late that I've understood that this anger has no point. So I lost many people. I lost even my friends because of my anger. Ego added to my anger because I had some ego, and anger added to it, made me lose a lot of my friends. Because I was not humble enough, I guess, to be friends with a few people. So I always wanted to be the boss. So when someone tried to, overshadow me, then I always showed my anger. And for petty reasons, whenever my ego was hurt, or whenever I am hurt mentally, then I showed anger in various situations, because of which I lost a lot of friends. I even lost my loved one. So there are so many scenarios where I even feel bad about my decision of using anger or having anger on a particular person. So definitely I lost a lot of relations in my life.
Wow. Ouch. I'm sorry. It sounds like this is a good exercise for you then. Very good. So, all right. How about fear? Have you lost any because of fear?
Fear, definitely yes, because I have some phobias, because of which I didn't travel much to particular places. Actually, some people wanted me to come to the place, and I couldn't travel at one point of time because of my phobias that I had, because of the phobias that I had relating to travel. So because of which I couldn't establish. So a good bond with a strong bond with people who actually wanted to be my friends. So definitely, I've lost a lot of
Mm.
relations because of fear. Some people even wanted me to travel with them to a particular place, and I couldn't do that. And I lost that relation because of that. They went alone. So definitely, I have a fear of traveling because of my health condition. But I don't think my health condition would stop me from traveling. But I have a fear because of which I didn't travel, and it led to me losing a lot of relationships. So I lost a lot of people actually that could
Okay.
actually benefit each other and make me happy. I actually lost a lot of relations. I It's because of fear.
Yeah. Okay. Just a small tweak is you said I couldn't travel, but reality is you wouldn't travel, correct?
Yes, yes. But I
Yeah.
believe
I
that
hate to be
I
picky,
can
but it
travel.
makes a big difference.
I can travel, but the main
Go
problem
ahead.
is I think that my health condition. It's all in my head that my health condition wouldn't permit me to travel, but actually I can travel, and
Yeah.
my health condition can permit it
Mm.
up a particular extent. But still,
Yeah.
I refuse to travel
Cool.
because of the
Cool.
fear.
There you go. Good. That puts you in control. It's not the
Yes,
condition that made you not travel. You decided not to, so you didn't. So now if
travel.
you
Yes,
decide to, you will. And that's all.
I opted out.
That's good.
Yes.
That's all. It puts you in control. All right. List things in your life you had wanted but never got and why you think you never got them.
There are a lot of things in my life that I wanted,
Regrets.
but I never got. Most importantly,
Okay.
I always wanted to do an MBA that I didn't do. I wanted to do masters in business
Hmm.
administration because I'm interested in HR, but unfortunately, I didn't do that. Why I never did it, or why I never ventured into doing an MBA uh, is because I was confused, because I always wanted to do an MBA and I was confused. And I believe that I made a wrong career choice. So because of which I lost a lot of avenues, or maybe I lost a lot of things that I could have done, lost a lot of achievements. That is one thing I strongly believe that I always wanted, but I didn't get it because of the confusion I had relating to my career choice or academic pursuits. I had a lot of confusion, and because of that confusion, I didn't do that MBA course, which I regret.
Okay. Good answer. Thank you. List problems that stress has caused in your life.
So stress actually is the main culprit. I believe that led to my ailments or my health condition. Acid reflux that I suffer from
Mm.
severely is actually gets aggravated because of stress. So whenever I'm in stress or in distress, uh, acid reflux acid reflux gets aggravated, and I have this throat spasms getting aggravated, and my dysphagia problem gets worse whenever I'm in stress. So all my health conditions, the health ailments that I have, they get worse when I'm in stress. So definitely it's not good, and I can't think properly. My decision making and problem solving skills come down. They don't work properly. My mind cannot analyze things properly when I'm in stress. So definitely there are a lot of problems that I'm facing because of stress.
Okay. How about anxiety? List problems that anxiety has caused in your life.
Anxiety, definitely, Matt. Whenever I have anxiety problems or anxiety issues, I have anxiety issues because of my health ailments. So whenever I have these anxiety issues, I I stop doing my work, and from this April onwards, you know my condition, what happened to me from April. So from April till now, I had a lot of anxiety issues, because of which I stopped working completely, and I believe I lost a lot of productive time. I could have done lot more research, lot more work. I could have done a lot of things actually relating to my professional and academic life. But unfortunately, I believe that because of anxiety issues, I couldn't do a lot that I planned to do, because I believe this COVID situation has also given us an opportunity to upskill ourselves. And my anxiety issues actually stopped me from upskilling myself, doing a lot of productive work, and also from socializing. So I believe that I couldn't socialize with prominent and eminent erudite scholars in my field because of anxiety issues. And anxiety also, sometimes whenever I get anxiety, anxiety also leads to anger sometimes. So definitely, it has caused a havoc in my life, anxiety issues. So I take medication for anxiety apart from my medication for acid reflux and other issues. So anxiety is real, and it's very, 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 very destructive.
Okay. Well, very good answers. Thank you for being so honest and vulnerable, and saying it like it is. That's very cool. That's helpful to if you be real, you're setting a good example for other people being real with what's working for them and what's not working for them. And it's easy to talk about what's working. It's not so hard to talk about what's not working, what you feel bad about. So good job. So, okay. The next part is about reality. The world works the way the world works, right? It's everything works. It does outside of us. The real world is happening outside of us. The issue is how we see it in our mind, how we picture it, and how we react to it. Definitely. And then we talk about the difference, not in the book, but we talk about the difference between reacting versus responding, right? And reacting is habitual and from our childhood, and some things going inside of us, we just react and do what feel strong feelings, as opposed to responding, where we think about it at first and we put some thought into it, and we put our both our thoughts and our feelings together, and we decide how to respond properly. So the world works the way the world works, regardless of our opinion of it. I like that line. It is how it is. Dr. Wayne Dyer is famous for saying, "It is how it is." He said the number one biggest goal for personal growth is to actually come to grips with that. It is how it is, exactly as it is. And but there's still our perception of what is. So the world's doing what the world's doing, then we get to decide how we take that in and what we do with it. So it's not, we then create big beliefs about how the world is, and those are tricky to change sometimes. This is in the book. They are we decide how world is, and we then go out and find evidence to prove that we're right about that. And sometimes we're not right about that, and so we're proving stuff we don't even want to be right about, and that kind of thing. So but it's really important that we look at our beliefs and decide if that is really accurate now, because they're beliefs that we are carrying from our past. And so now, is that what we want to carry and forward now and onward? Is it? So in the book, it says we get to decide how we perceive the world, what the world offers. We get to decide. We react to particular circumstances and events according to our particular sense of right and wrong. So we are perceiving that. how we get to decide how we accept that the world offers, right? We can reject it or we can accept it, and we can say, yeah, that's how it is, or we can say, wait a minute, no, I'm working on that. I want to adjust that. I can do things differently. I don't have to carry around all this stress and anger and anxiety. Even though it seems like things are tragic and oh my goodness, oh no, maybe they are, maybe they're not. We get to decide, and that's kind of the point of this whole book, is we get to decide, and it's a wonderful, wonderful, freeing power that we have. And why I jump up and down about emotional intelligence in the first place is that we get to decide, and people don't know that, and that's a big deal. So, so lastly, we get to respond to what the world offers. We get to perceive it, we get to accept it or not, and then we get to respond or not to whatever is happening. Whatever's happening outside of us, we get to deal with what happens inside of us and what we're going to do about it and what we're going to do with it, which are very different questions. So we have choices. Emotional intelligence gives us choices. Woohoo! And we get sometimes it's overwhelming how many choices we have. Some people are like, oh my goodness, but that's a good thing. Good thing. Choices offer freedom. And so when we have more choices, we get to choose different stuff, and we're free to choose, and that's a wonderful thing too. It's another reason that I'm jumping up and down about all this. So we get to choose. We get to choose how we contribute to the world, and we get to choose how the world affects us. We get to choose, let's say, all of our choices affect what the world has to offer us. If we choose to be fearful or angry person, the world will offer us the experience of being fearful and angry, right? It's going to go, okay, that's what you believe, that's what you're going to see. But personal peace comes from the way we review and respond to the world around us. So we can either get upset about it or we can be calm about it. And that, again, is our choice. Whatever happens is simply what happens. How we choose to view it is determined by our own personal belief systems. That is wonderful, wonderful news, I think. Anything you wanted to share before I'm just going through?
As you said, we get to choose, what we want to accept, how we want to perceive, and how we want to look at things, what to take, what not to take. Whatever is positive, we can take it, and whatever is negative, we can leave it. And similarly, we can always have an optimistic view of negative things. Maybe there are some learnings that we have to do because of which we have that negative. So as you said, we get to choose, and that's the greatest thing that emotional intelligence can offer to us.
Isn't it? Yes. Totally agree. So here's a quick story in the book about Pollyanna. Pollyanna was a little girl who always was happy no matter what happened, and even when those around her were making her life difficult. Most people laugh at the story and make fun of her for being unrealistic, but stop for a moment and think, who was the unhappy one, Pollyanna or the people who are making fun of her? We can choose to be happy. We can choose to be unhappy. Which one works best for you? Nice. All right. We learn that when events happen and we experience what our scientists call arousal, where we pay attention response, where it gets our attention, instead of viewing it as good or bad, we can instead view it as something we must pay attention to. Instead of judging the event to decide how we want to respond, we can learn to just pay attention, with our concern being to find a solution. In other words, you can suspend judgment, is one of the emotional intelligence terms, that is in the moment, and that what you're doing is you're deciding not to decide. You're not, it's not good, it's not bad, it just is. It is how it is, like we were just talking about. It just is how it is. You can then decide if you want to good or bad, but you get to decide. So that's a wonderful thing. Regardless of the circumstances you come up against, the individuals you must deal with, or the aggravating situations you find yourself in, you can learn to choose a response other than anger. You can choose anger if you want to, or you can choose something other than anger. Again, and that's the point of this book. Life without anger is about deciding. If you look at something, you have an angry thought about it, and then you go, wait a minute, I don't want to have an angry thought about it. I want to have a different thought about that. So you have a different thought about it, and you never get angry. That's the point. That's the whole point of this book. It's oversimplified, I know, but not really. But not really. That kind of is the point. So Should we stop now? No, I'm just kidding. When you no longer react with fear or anger, what will happen? You'll be able to respond effectively in each situation that you face with the best possible response that your rational mind can create. Rational mind, right? Sometimes we want to be really aware of our emotions and then deal with them, right? Sometimes we want to be aware of our emotions and go, you know what? I'm not doing that right now. I'm just going to think. I'm going to consciously ignore that right now. And I'm going to think about these thoughts I'm noticing are angry and they're anxiety producing and they're fear producing thoughts. And I think I don't like them. I don't want them. I'm going to change it. I want to change it. Spin it to win it, right? We were talking about spin it to win it is a wonderful little hashtag that I came up with, which just means that you have a thought like that this is bad, and then you get mad about it, and then you go, wait a minute, what if it's not that bad? What if I find some good in it? What if I adjust it a little bit, spin it to win it? What if I adjust it a little bit? I'm probably going to feel better, right? And so that's how it works. Thoughts, feelings in that order. Think of the positive changes that have been made in the world if enough members of our society learn to respond without fear or anger. Well, that's kind of the point of our nonprofit, is to teach the world emotional intelligence, this exactly. And that's why we're sitting here doing what we're doing right this minute. So I'm proposing, and I believe that what's working is that people can find peace. And it starts with our peace inside of ourselves. And when we have choices and when we have freedom, we can choose to be peaceful. We can choose to be calm and wonderful. We can choose to be positive. We can choose to be loving, right? Or we can choose to be angry, or we can choose to be fearful. It's up to us. And that's a wonderful thing. But most people don't know that, in my opinion. Most people do not understand that they have more power and control than they ever thought possible inside of them.
Yes.
Yes.
So as you said, Matt, so we are already, maybe we are already depressed or we are already frustrated. And I believe that coming out of frustration or depression, anger doesn't help much. Anger only makes it worse. So as you said, reacting to a situation is not good and it doesn't do any good to us. Similarly, responding to a situation might give us satisfaction that we are looking for and might actually solve the root problem or the root cause of our anger. So I believe that a response is something, which we have a choice for. We can, how we accept things, how we take in things, it's all in us, and we have the power. The power is within us.
We have the power. It sounds self-centered and it sounds egotistic and it sounds like a power trip and having control issues and all that. It is. All of those things are true. All those things are true, but they're good stuff. They're good stuff. If we don't have power over us, if we don't have control issues in that area, then we give up control. People and things and everything out in the world controls us, and that's not right. That doesn't work well. It doesn't work well for me. And so I want to be kind of ego-centered in this way. Right? So I think a lot of people have a hard time admitting that they are doing this for themselves, but the reality is they're doing it for themselves. And once you come to grips with that, it helps a lot. Yeah, I'm being a good person because it works for me. I am being loving because I like loving. I am not doing anger because it's not working for me. So those kind of things, it's me. It sounds bad, but it's true. It happens to be true, and it's important. Go ahead. Sorry. What?
It's only anger is only making it worse. It's not solving the problem.
Exactly. So, and I did it. I created it. I generated it. And I'm the one causing the problem all by myself. The other person doesn't have that much to do with it. The other person does what they do. They do what they do. What I decide about what they do, that's the problem. So, and that's good news. That's good news because I can adjust it. So in the book, they have some Q&A at this time. When you say that peace is an inside job, what do you mean? Well, I mean that peace can only come from inside you. Until you find peace, till you feel peace, there is no peace. Till you feel peace, that's good. What do you mean by peace? I mean that the state of mind where you are at ease, comfortable with yourself and the world around you. This frees you to express positive love-based emotions. It's not possible when you are experiencing negative fear-based emotions. So
True.
Instead of me just reading them, do you want to read some of them? Do number
Yes.
3?
Q3, isn't anger a part of the human condition? Isn't it just the natural thing we do? The ability to be angry is a part of our nature. The decision to be angry is an exercise of our free will. Anger is a part of our social conditioning. Therefore, it is common for most people to choose anger in many situations. I totally agree, man.
Choose, yes. Yes.
So,
isn't the fight or flight response a part of our nature? Yep.
So scientists used to think that when they realized that positive and negative responses were physiologically the same, they then realized that fight or flight, negative protective responses were created by our own perception of the event rather than the event itself. So this is completely, this is what it's all our perception, how we take it in. So if I'm in a negative situation,
seems self-centered, it is.
So anger can be helpful because it is a stronger emotion than fear, and shifting from fear to anger is helpful. However, the positive emotions are much stronger and much more effective than anger in dealing with fearful situations. In anger, our brain functions are impaired as compared to a problem-solving attitude.
Okay. So why do we choose to be fearful or angry?
Yes, because that is the prevailing belief in our society, and our parents and others taught it to us. Many people are now successfully trained to handle emergency situations without fear as part of their work life. So especially I believe that, Matt, the people who work in the medical field, and every day is an emergency for them, because they deal with a lot of patients, a lot of medical emergencies. So it's very important for them to condition themselves in a way where they can handle fear and may see to it that it doesn't lead to anger. So when you say anger is an ineffective response, what do you mean? I mean that it decreases our ability to reason and even reduces our life expectancy. I totally agree. It generally decreases our ability to function effectively and to enjoy life. Frequent anger will cost you 11 years of your life on average. My God.
11 years. 11 years. Oh my goodness.
My God.
Ouch. Being angry.
So, what do you say? That we are solely responsible for our own anger? Because we always have a choice of how we respond, no matter what the situation you are, never required to choose anger. So
never. That's why.
No matter the situation,
never
required to choose anger. Never, ever. So you say
we can choose it, and sometimes it can be appropriate. We can choose it, but we are never required to choose it.
We are never required. It's not a compulsory thing.
Yeah.
So you say we always respond according to our beliefs. If that is so, how can I change my responses? By changing your beliefs.
By changing your
beliefs.
Boom. Yep. Yes. We can change our thoughts. Beliefs are thoughts. We can change.
To retune my mind, I have to unlearn and relearn. So if I change my beliefs, why won't I just automatically change my responses to match my new belief? You would like to answer it, Matt?
Well, because you still retain many beliefs and memories that are contrary to your new belief. So that means that we have evidence to prove that our former belief was correct. And we then have to find new evidence to show that our new belief is correct. But we have memories and proof that the old belief is correct. But our new belief can affect our response until they are dealt with. It's like breaking a bad habit.
Yes. If I have anger, shouldn't I express it? Because I have learned that stuffing anger is not good.
My opinion, if you have, well, what it says in here, if you have anger, not releasing it is not good. You can learn to release it in non-destructive ways. Yes. However, the most effective way to deal with such problems is to never experience the anger in the first place, which is a good point. If you don't get angry in the first place, you don't have to release it. You don't have to do anything with it. But if you find that you are actually angry, in my opinion, this is accurate that you can learn to release it in non-destructive ways. You can just be angry for a few minutes and you can write it out, you can journal it out, you can sing it out, you can imagine it out, you can do all kinds of things to release it. But of course, if you don't get angry in the first place, that's even better.
Totally agree, man. So if I'm never angry or fearful, won't life be dull and uninteresting?
I think it's way more fun. No, far from it. Learning not to experience our negative emotions allows us to more fully express and enjoy our positive emotions. Woohoo! Yep.
That's great. So if I do all of this, how will it change my life?
You feel good, you enjoy, others will like you better, you will like yourself better, you'll be able to accomplish your goals, you'll be healthy, and you'll live longer. Other than that, no big deal.
Great answers, man. Really,
so, okay. Yeah. All right. Okay, so we're to exercise again on page 13. What are some of your fears?
So my fears is basically, as you know, food is something I fear because I have problem in swallowing solid food. Maybe traveling, maybe socializing, and also because actually I love lecturing. I can lecture up to hours together, but because of my throat condition, I fear speaking for a long time might make it to spasm. So there are a lot of fears actually. These are some of my fears, man.
Okay. Understood. Okay, good. What are things that make you angry?
So the most important thing that makes me angry is not being able to do what I love to do.
Okay.
So that is the most important reason why I'm angry. And the second reason is not being able to do things on time. So it's something that makes me angry.
Okay. So it's loss of freedom, sounds like. Autonomy issues. If you can't do what you want to do, that's it was not autonomy. It's not someone telling you you can't, it's that you can't or when you can't. So yeah. Okay, good. What are things that make you feel stressed?
Maybe exhausting myself too much makes me stressed. Doing things that I don't like to do or I don't want to do, or forcing myself because I have a comfort zone, Matt. Because of my condition, I have to abide by that comfort zone. So if I come out of that comfort zone and I force myself to do something that I even like, it makes me feel stressed. So there are a lot of things that make me feel stressed.
Good answer. No, out of my comfort zone. Yeah, that's yeah. How about depressed? What makes you feel depressed?
I have a certain set of goals, Matt. I wanted to achieve particular goals at particular points of my life. So when I missed the goals, when I miss the deadlines, they make me depressed actually. So when I missed my goals at a particular, means I have to achieve a particular thing at a particular point of time. When I miss my vision or I miss my objective, then when I miss my aim, I'm depressed.
Okay. All right, good. What are things that seems funny to say good that you're talking about all these negative things, but it's good that you're talking about them. It's good that you're realizing them. It's good that you're listing them. It's good that you're aware of them. It's good that you're accepting them. So even though they sound bad, they're negative emotions, it's positive that you're working with them, in my opinion. What are things that irritate you? Mm-hmm.
The things that irritate me are the things that stop me from doing what I love. So especially my ailments, they are the things that irritate me the most. My ailments, the disease that I'm going through, or my suffering, my health related diseases are what uh, are irritating me the most actually, because they are stopping me from realizing my dreams. They're stopping me from being action. So these my ailments are the most irritating factors.
What are some little things that others do that make you angry?
Sometimes, when people don't listen to me, or don't follow what I say, if they have their own mind, whenever I try to give them some advice and they don't want to take it properly, then I get irritated sometimes. So maybe I want others to sometimes follow what I'm trying to say, or my guidelines or my instructions, because I believe that at particular points my instructions matter, and they're more effective and efficient. So if others don't abide by the rules that I set in, it makes me angry sometimes.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, and what do you worry the most about?
I worry the most about what happens next, is what I always think. What happens next? What if my health condition doesn't improve? So what happens next? What should I do next? If this is a situation, if I have to face this my entire life, so what next? Because I have some people to take care of me. I have my sister, I have my parents to take care of me. What if I don't have them? So I can't have them my entire life. So that worries me the most. So
yeah, okay. All right, good. Well, again, thank you for sharing and being real and honest and vulnerable. That's very cool. I appreciate that. Okay, so there's homework is next, and that which here, let me just read it, and you can we'll come back to it. It says it's homework to be done in the next class session. For 1 week, list everything that makes you angry or irritates you. Just journal is what he's saying, is suggesting that we write down things. Whenever you notice you're something being angry or irritating you, write it down. Notice and record what you think, how you felt, and what actions you did in response to your feelings. So because you felt that way, what did you do? So those are different. I had a thought, I had a feeling, and I acted. So those are different. I had the thought, I'm noticing it. I had the feeling, I'm noticing that. Now, what did I decide to do about it? What did I do with it? What did I do about it? So those are actions, and those are different. But it's helpful to record those and be aware of those. So this is good homework. Notice and record how long you felt that way, Okay, so once you had the feeling, did the action help you alleviate the feeling, or did you keep feeling it? How long do you keep feeling that way? Ask yourself how you could have better handled whatever triggered your anger or irritation, and record those thoughts and feelings. And then ask yourself how you could have thought or done to not feel angry or upset, and record that. What could you have done different to not have gotten angry in the first place? So, okay, there's one more part of lesson 1, and that is RECUE reflection. So why don't you read, well, let's alternate. You read one, I'll read one. You read the dark gray ones.
I'll
Page
try.
14.
So personal peace comes from the way I view and respond to the world around me. Wow.
Yay. Woohoo. Yep. Yep. That's there. If you get that point, you get the whole book. Okay, I can
Yes.
choose to change my judgment response rather than continuing to accept what I was taught. I am at choice. Yay.
Okay. Personal peace will follow when I learn to be accepting and understanding rather than judging events as either good or bad.
Yeah.
So understanding
An
and
arousal
acceptance-
response does not need to be viewed as good or bad. I can instead view it as something I must pay attention to. I do not have
True.
to judge. That's a habit.
True.
I do not have to judge
True.
good or bad.
True. As inconceivable as it may sound, it is possible for me to never experience anger. Wonderful. That's true.
Good. It's harder than it sounds. It sounds easy. I mean, it's simple. Let me put it that way. It's simple. If you have an angry thought, change it and you won't feel angry anymore. Okay.
Sure.
Super simple. Not so easy. Not so easy.
True.
But it
True,
is
man.
possible. It is possible. Once I learned to leave anger and fear behind, joy, happiness, contentment, and peace with the world is what awaits me. Woo. Right?
So the world is full of joy and
All right.
happiness. And you know why we want this
Right.
hurdle called anger to stop us from enjoying our life. So I totally agree, Matt. Wonderful lesson.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
So
Thank
that's
you.
the end of lesson 1. I would refer back to the homework to be aware of when you're angry or irritated before next time.
Yes.
And then what did you do about that? How long did you feel that way? What could you have done different? And what if you could have changed your thoughts and never got angry in the first place? Could you have? And what would that have been like? So that's the homework for this. And that ends lesson 1. Next, we'll do lesson 2, how the mind works. But we'll work on that tomorrow.
Sure.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you, Matt. Thanks
Okay.
for the wonderful. Please share the recording. Thank you so much. Love you, Matt.
Will do. All right. Yeah. Love you too. Take care. Good job. Bye.
Take care. See you, Matt. See you.